Aftershocks right here on AftershocksTV.com. And today we are going to speak to a guy that if you're any kind of a metal fan of the last 20 years, you certainly know him. You certainly know his work with Dragonforce. If you've been paying attention the last, year or so, you know he's in Kreator as well. And now he's back with a new band or project. I guess we'll define that as we speak. It's called, you know what? I'm gonna let you say it because is it Amahiru?
I don't know. I'm becoming a specialist of unpronounceable bands because I'm wearing, self promotion. I'm wearing a Sinsaenum shirt.
Right.
People having trouble to pronounce correctly, so it's Sinsaenum. And the new band / project, whatever you want to call it, is Amahiru. Yeah, it's coming from a dream. It doesn't really mean anything. It doesn't mean anything at all.
Okay.
I just had a dream about someone with a contract saying you need to give me that contract back on the 13th of September. And okay. I was like, so I woke up and I was like, this is a strange dream. And the name of the band was Amahil with an L.
Okay.
And the band is basically a duo, Saki from Japan and myself from France. And so if you want to pronounce it or write it in a Japanese way, it would become Amahiru.
Okay.
So I asked her and I said, does it mean anything at all? And she was like, nah. And I said, okay, but does it sound cool to you? And she said, okay. So we kept it because then I checked, okay, here's the end of the story. It's not that amazing, but I checked on internet to see if Hamahiru or with an H or something meant anything, and Hamahiru with an H means 13 in Basquian, which I don't speak. So I thought that was quite a coincidence and a freaky coincidence. So I was like, okay, we keep that. So that's the story behind the name that no one can pronounce.
Very nice. Well, of course, I didn't pronounce your name either. Of course, it's Frédéric Leclercq from these bands in Amahiru. And Frédéric, very exciting time, I think, for you musically. I mean, I know you as well as everybody else. The pandemic has really kind of changed a lot of people's plans, but in a way, I think for this thing to come together, it's really, I don't want to say fortunate timing, but it's given you a lot more time to kind of get everything in place to actually launch this band, no?
Well, actually, most of it has been done the year before because I'm a very busy person.
Sure.
But I guess, I wouldn't say the pandemic is a good thing.
Right.
But I guess it gave us time to really prepare things correctly. Technically, we were supposed to launch it probably a bit before. Something's flying. I don't know. I don't know if you saw it. Was just like,
yeah, I saw it.
Quite nice. Like, but I'm not too sure because I was in Japan in February before the. Is that the sun? Do you guys see me correctly? Or?
Yes, you're fine.
It's kind of nice. It gives a nice
cool.
It's I'm in Germany right now, so actually I'm taking everything I can from sun.
Sure.
But I'm gonna try to move that anyway a little bit. Yeah, there you go. I was in Japan in end of February to do the videos because there's an S because there's a second video coming.
Okay, great.
Amahiru, and I was there with Saki, and we were talking about possibly doing shows over the summer, and everything was great. The pandemic was starting, but no one really knew what was going on. It was a big if. For sure, I was like, nah, it's never going to happen in France. That's fine. They were closing down schools in Japan. They didn't have. They had a shortage of toilet paper. That was the first time I was hearing about it.
Right.
I was like, really? I was on the phone with my wife and saying, you know what? The strangest thing is like they don't have toilet paper anymore. I'm like, what? Really? And so that was the plan. And then I guess I came back home, and 2 weeks after, everything started to shut down. The tour with Kreator got canceled, and so the plans with Amahiru got canceled as well. So we're just like, okay, then we're gonna push the release of the album and just take our time and do things right.
Sure, definitely. Well, I guess before we talk about the record itself, maybe give us a little background on how you. I'm assuming this is this came together between you and Saki specifically. Talk a little bit about how you knew her, and because I mean she's well known in her own right for anybody that follows Japanese music and whatnot. So talk a little bit about how you knew her and how this came together.
Okay, I'm gonna do that in a second. I
Okay.
think there's too much sun now.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm just gonna be right back. I don't know if you can hear me. Voila.
Oh, much better.
Hey, here we go.
There you are.
There you go. So, how did I meet Saki? We were so that's back when I was playing in Dragonforce,
Right.
And 2015, I believe, we played in Hong Kong, and we had that Japanese band opening for us, Mary's Blood. And obviously it's only girls, so obviously the whole band was watching the sound check, which usually we don't do. So we were just like, okay. And I was like, okay, she plays well. And then, after the show, after her show, after their show, she came to the dressing room, and we just like started to have a drink and chat together. And she was like very friendly, very, so there was a connection there. And then we met again in Japan, and then had a few more drinks and a few more conversations about music. And then every time I would go to Japan, we would just, meet up and talk and just like, exchange ideas. And I guess it's always the case. Like it was the same with Sinsaenum when I met, people are just like, oh my God, how did you get to play with Joe Jordison? It's just, that's what I do. I mean, I do tours and I meet people.
Sure.
We happen to be musicians, sometimes famous, sometimes not so famous. And then you connect with them, and then you just decide to do things together. So that's exactly what happened with Saki. And she's also very busy. Yeah, she plays in Mary's Blood. She has another band called Nemophila. She plays also a lot of she's always like, when I check, her Twitter and whatnot, I'm like, God, she never sleeps. So, she's pretty busy. So that's what I like. I mean, she's a good musician. She's she's talented, and she has the motivation to do things. So that's how we end up playing together.
Sure. Now putting this together, putting Amahiru together as a project, at least from the first single, which is all I've heard at this point, is Ours. It really sounds like what the elements are. It's got some melodic metal to it. It's got some, especially in the vocals, it's got a little bit of extreme metal to it. It's definitely got the Japanese influenced, which obviously would be there. The Japanese influences are there as well. Was that difficult to put those influences together, or did it come together just really organically?
Really organically. As a matter of fact, most of the Japanese sounding parts are coming from me and not from Saki.
Oh, okay.
Yes, because that's a good example. So you don't have the album yet, but there's a song called Samurai. And to me, as a French person, samurai is meaning of like, this is really cool, very Japanese,
Sure.
And Saki would be the one going like, I don't know if it's good, because for them, maybe, I don't know, but maybe it's the equivalent of a French guy with a baguette and a garlic, like very, very typical. So she would be more naturally attracted to Western music, whereas I am very attracted to Japanese music. So not every Japanese aspect, a lot of Oriental music would actually come from my side, with a blessing, of course, because then I would play that to her, just like, do you think does it sound like good to you, or blah blah. But that's the way it was coming. But really all it was once we decided on doing the project, that's around the time I was going on tour with Sinsaenum. So we had a world tour to prepare. So I just had like some ideas. I remember we talked about doing that project, and I was going on vacation with my wife, and as I was going on the train, I just said, okay, be right back. And I went outside, and I was like on my phone, because I was already like having ideas. And then I just piled up those ideas up to a point that I had quite a lot, but I felt, okay, I could do, just like write everything by myself and then send it to Saki. But what's the point? That's not really cool. So instead, we arranged that I would come to Japan and spent 3 weeks there, and we worked on the songs together. So we would work like, I don't know, 8 hours a day. We had like the label we're working with in Japan is called Ward, and I asked them, I said, could you like keep a room for us in your office, so they could also come and check if we're working and not just like video games. So but we would spend like office hours, really just go there and work on music every day, and that's how we finalized everything. But it was very, very natural, because that's one thing to write. Hours I wrote mostly on my own, but it was important for me to fly over and just to be with her, so I could grasp the way she would react to parts, and then she would tell me, oh, maybe this and that and that. So it was just as important and way better than me just being on my own in France and working on the stuff. And as for the not hybrid, I don't like the word hybrid, but it's a mixture of all the things that I like. I guess we decided at first, we were just like, okay, we want to play music together, but what sort of music? And I was like, I don't want this to sound like Dragonforce.
Right.
That's one thing for sure, because obviously Japanese, they would like see me as the guy from Dragonforce.
Sure.
And I wrote some songs that became sort of popular there, like Seasons is one of the songs that they really picked up in Japan back then. And I was like, okay, that's the kind of stuff I can do, but it's not my style to, obviously it's not because I left the band. It's not my style to go like, 200 BPM all the time, blah, blah. So
Right.
It will be quite different. And I felt it more challenging, interesting to bring back hard rock 80s, hard rock elements because that's something that Saki likes, but people would not expect her to play a sort of like extreme, like the band Extreme,
Sure.
sort of riffs like this, which you will hear on the album. And so I guess at the end of the day, it was just like making music and being happy to be free to do exactly what I want, and not to have like a book of like, okay, so has to be 200 BPM, has to talk about dragons, has to, so
Right.
it was more like a freeing, and luckily we just we just clicked in that sense. So yeah.
Sure. Yeah, excellent. Now, Frédéric, one of the things, I mean, you are definitely an international musician. You're from France. You're obviously in Kreator, which is German, and Sinsaenum, which is not United States based, and now Amahiru as well, which is an international type of a band. Is part of that for you as a creator and as a musician, because you appreciate worldly music, and I don't want to say worldly, but as much as I want to say that the United States has a very trendy type of a latching onto music, where if you go outside, like I lived in Korea for a couple of years, and when I lived there, I certainly learned that there was a lot more to music than what I'm fed on the radio here in the States.
Mm-hmm.
Is part of the reason that you kind of have stayed in your career working with bands outside of the States, because you have a bigger appreciation for the music, for creating music on the world stage versus just Americanized music?
I never really analyzed this as much as just being lucky enough to travel and meet people from other countries. And I guess that's what's cool. And I guess that's definitely because also I started touring in the year 2000 onwards. So I guess that's when internet started to be more popular, accessible, and music software as well. So I am from an age that it's very easy to be working with someone from another country, whereas I'm pretty sure like 40 years ago it would have been very difficult for people to just like, let me send you those tapes over. Right. Now it's very easy. So I guess there's no limitation in that sense. And I guess coming from France, there's not the music scene is not so. I mean, it is good. Don't get me wrong, but it's sometimes limited for, I don't know, for example, the English speaking, the level, as you can hear, is not always great. So it's good to have like a singer from another country. And if I if I can afford this, I might as well do it rather than be limited. Just like has to be French, has to be a French person. No, I just want person that I feel fine with and person that are good at what they're doing. And so yeah, I'm very lucky to be able to connect with these people, and I guess being able to speak English and German as well. And having, like I said, with Dragonforce, we did travel a lot. So I just met a lot of people everywhere. I have a real fascination for Japan. So obviously I jumped on the occasion when we started to think about doing something with Saki. I was just like, yes, I would love that, because I really love your country,
Sure.
and I love your food and your video. So yeah, I guess, but it's never really been planned as a let's make something worldwide. It's just that I have the opportunity, so I might as well take it.
Sure, definitely. Now you mentioned that you love Japan, and I loved Japan when I was over there. When I was in Korea, I used to hop right on over there to Japan for concerts. I was there in the 80s, and that was before the concerts went to Korea. So I used to take the weekend flights and go to Japan to catch, at that time it was Skid Row or Dokken or whoever it was, playing at the Big Egg there in Nagoya. And it's fascinating how different it is in Japan for music. Over here, bands over here that would play in a club over there will play, maybe not a stadium, but they'll play in front of 10, 15,000 people.
Big venues, yeah.
Have you kind of looked at Japan as maybe becoming more of a home base? It's certainly I'm assuming it's the home base for Amahiru. Is it going to be more of a home base for you, as you go forward with your multiple projects?
I don't know. Again, especially right now, it's very difficult to try to think about the future, because
Sure.
I don't know when I'm going to be able to fly to Japan. Just simple as that for a start. So I don't know. I would love certainly to have a career, and it was always in my ideas to develop. I look up to Marty Friedman, who was able to to make a career there. I don't know if that's ever going to happen, but I was surely I've always been under the impression that it's possible to not be Japanese, but to become known there, and I always made sure that Japanese people would know that I really love their countries, and it's not just like just going there and just like, oh my God, I love you guys, but it's very natural. It's a natural attraction. So I'm not lying when I go to, I don't know, the Netherlands or Germany. I just don't say anything, because I don't want to go there and just, oh my God, I love your country. It's like some bands would go there and they're like, whenever they play to the on the night, and they're like, oh my God, this whatever country is the best in the world, and your crowd is the best in the. No, I don't do that. But when I feel strong about something, I might as well say it. So Japan, yeah, I mean, I would love, and I guess Amahiru is sort of based in Japan because the label is there and Saki is there, but it's also have French because of me, and I guess that's also how we want to present it. So it's sometimes difficult for people because they like to identify to a band and call, oh, this is a band from the United States. And I guess that's also a problem for Sinsaenum, for example, because people can really grasp where it's from. They're like, it's a band from this guy from France, and there's a guy from the US. So does it belong to us? So I guess people are, they like to hold on to that. So Amahiru is, I'd say Amahiru is half French, half Japanese, and yeah, I would love to develop that there. I mean, with Sinsaenum, I made a point that we would play in Japan, and the T-shirt I'm actually wearing was a T-shirt made just for Japan when we played there. Yeah, it's a samurai, so everything is connected. Yeah, I want to make sure that if there's a country in the world that I make sure that things are done correctly, it's Japan. But I'm not just basing everything on Japan. I'm just like, I don't know. I'm happy. I'm lucky to be in Kreator, which is already like a big machine, and it runs by itself.
Sure.
So I'm in a very lucky position. So I guess I'm happy to do interviews, and I'm happy to post pictures when it's needed and whatnot, but I'm not really running after any sort of like oh, look at me now or whatever. I'm just very lucky, privileged to be able to release music, and if people like it, if they dig it, then it's great.
Excellent. Well, they're certainly liking the first single that we've heard so far, which is simply called Hours. It's such a fun song, and I'll be honest, probably like every other person that heard you were involved with it, I expected it to sound like Dragonforce, and it doesn't. And that's, I think you're probably stuck with that forever. I think no matter what you do, you're always going to get that. But talk a little bit about how you chose Hours to be the first single. And obviously I haven't heard the rest of the record to know if it is the perfect first single, but does it feel like it's the right song for you?
It's no, I mean, yes, but it's always, we swapped. No, it's right. Okay.
Movie up.
Okay, I remember that. Yeah, they told us, use the firework, and I was like, she's playing guitar. See, I can't concentrate. I'm looking at myself. I think the song is very catchy, and I guess it was a sort of no-brainer when we were talking about like first song. Since we started making the album, we're just like, yeah, it should be Hours. And then once it's out, you're like, oh my God, but yeah, that song is really good too. And we should have put that one out, So I don't know. I think it's a good. It broadcasts everything. It has like melody. It's catchy. Has like sort of those Japanese elements in the music that we were talking about. Archie's voice. I mean, it just starts directly with his vocals, so you can sort of identify the band with his voice, which was also very important because I present the band as a duo, which is how it's presented anyway. But it's also very important to mention that nothing would have been possible without Archie, the singer, because he was like the sort of we had great songs, but once we decided to work with Archie, then everything made total sense. So we had cool songs, but we were just like, we were trying to find options for a singer, and I even thought, we wanted to ask Mark from Dragonforce, which I was like, I'm already in Dragonforce, and I kind of already want to get out, but I'm not telling anyone. So there's no real point having Mark, and I guess as the more the songs were developing, it was like, this isn't right. And there was like, we had like a particular song called "Bring Me Down." It was like sort of heavy and groovy, and I was like, this is not going to work with his voice. And then I was like, okay, who do I know? Archie. I asked him. I sent him a not a tape, an MP3, and he was like, yeah, that'd be cool. And then he sent back some ideas the next day. And we're just like, yep, that's it, deal. Saki heard it. She was like, yep. And the label as well, we're just like, okay, we're aiming to work with that guy. What do you think? They were just like, hi, which means yes in Japanese.
Right.
And so yeah, but to go back to your question, yes, I think Hours is an amazing song and an amazing first single. Sure. But we have another video coming out fairly soon, and it's also pretty good. So all the songs are great. Actually, could have been there are 2 instrumentals. Would have not make sense to get them out as a first single, but most of the songs could have been the first single, but I'm glad we chose that one. Is that a good answer?
That's a good answer. It definitely is. Well, Frédéric, obviously, as we mentioned a little bit earlier, the pandemic has kind of thrown everybody's, plans up in the air. I'm assuming that you're planning to tour Japan or Europe or something, should the world open up and allow that to happen. Are there any plans for 2021, or do you really just have to kind of sit back and wait for governments to do their governmental thing?
Yeah, pretty much that. I mean, it's very, very difficult. I mean, I see bands, including Kreator ourselves. We are, obviously we have hopes, and we are rescheduling stuff because you can't really sit on your ass and go like, okay, well, let's do nothing. So we do things. Right now, I am in Germany, in Essen, because we are working on new songs with Kreator. Okay. So at least there's that. And luckily for us, this is happening right at the time where we were supposed to be in studio anyway. In what we're doing right now, it's not because there's the pandemic So therefore, we have to work on an album. We have like bands have. I'm not saying that to you, but like for people who might not know, we have cycles. So you have an album out, then you go on tour to promote the album, then you tour again, and then you stop and work on songs, and then you record, and then you go out again. Well, we were exactly right at the point where we're supposed to be taking a year off. So for us, luckily, everything's fine. We had to cancel one tour with Lamb of God, which was in March earlier this year. But we have to cancel a show that's happening in a month in Mexico, which is unrealistic. But so far so good. It's not so bad. It's not like some bands that are on that sort of like routine that they have to release the album because they just spend time in the studio, and they have like there's that involves money and people, like a real big wheel of things, and now they're stuck because they have an album out but they cannot go and promote it. With Amahiru, it's a little different because there's nothing in motion, just the music.
Sure.
But we don't have like a touring crew, and we don't have there's no one waiting for us, so it's also okay for us to release an album now. But if we had like already a few albums out, and then it would have been a different story. So to answer your question about 2021, I would love to give you an answer, but unfortunately, it's more about, like I said, I don't even know when I will be able to go to Japan. Just on vacation. I love to go to Japan at least once a year. I've done that this year, so I'm okay. But I would be happy to just go there, say, I don't know, for Christmas or for New Year's Eve. I've done that with my wife. And we were actually, funny story, well, not so funny, but we were expecting to see like a big firework. So we went to the Tokyo Tower with a lot of people. People were outside, and we had a bottle of champagne. And we were just waiting, and some people would start a countdown, just like 10, and then everybody 9, 8. Then nothing happened, and I just turned around and I saw like a few balloons in the back, and it's like, okay. And then nothing really happened, so we were just there with my wife and a bottle of champagne. So we just like popped it, then went to the bar and got hammered. And the next day we saw that the celebration in Japan was actually those 4 balloons that I saw in the background. That was the thing. So I would love to go back there to experience once again the balloons of Tokyo.
Sure. Nice.
But I don't know. I don't know. The honest answer is I would love to do shows, and it's a band starting. I don't know how it's going to be difficult for bands that like us, that have to start again now. Everything's going to be very, very strange because the industry has been really hit hard. So that's going to be very difficult. So I don't know. I just joker. I don't know.
Everybody talks about going back on the road, and every band I talk to is like, well, once things open up, we're going to go back on the road. We're going to go back on the road. My biggest fear is that the combination of so many clubs that are not going to be open anymore, so many venues, and literally every single band on this planet going out on tour at the same time, there's not going to be enough places to play.
No, it's gonna be like I guess people sometimes were complaining, oh, there's no shows in my town, or there's not many, blah blah. Well, wait until this is reopened, because then it's just gonna be like 3 bands, 4 bands a night, because everybody's, like you said, dying to go. Like when you go on Twitter, you see bands running out of things to say, so just throw back to last year when we were on stage. Which fair enough. I mean, we're in the same position, but indeed, everybody's going to be like, right, okay, let's go. We need to go on, and people are going to be like, what to do? So that's going to be the second effect. First effect, there's nothing, and then the second one, there's too much. So it's going to take a little while to go back to normal. I think.
It definitely is.
Yeah.
Well, Frédéric, always fun to speak to you. The name of the new band is Amahiru. Got it?
Yeah.
The name of the album is the same.
Yeah.
And tell people when it comes out and where they should go to keep up with you and Amahiru, and and find out about it.
I don't think we have a website yet. We're talking about it. That's the cover with that way. There. No, there. Oh my God,
There.
I'm horrible. That's the cover. It's been done by Travis Smith, who's also done a lot of cool covers, including Sinsaenum and Vimic and whatnot. Not Vimic, Scar de Martyr. The album is coming out in November, and I didn't do my homework, but I believe it's on the 27th. Do you have something written in front of you?
I believe it is the 27th. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Then we're gonna release like another video, maybe another song before it comes out. And just to keep up with us, just check my Instagram. It's Evil Fredos, because I'm very evil, obviously, as you might have noticed. And my Twitter account, which is my name. And if you spell it wrong, like you did, then you won't be able to find me. But that's okay too. My name is spelled Leclercq.
Okay, there we go.
Yeah, Fred Leclerc, but it doesn't matter. Yeah, just check Amahiru. We have an account as well, so you can find us there.
Very good, man. Well, all right, Frédéric. Well, as always, it's great to speak to you, man. And good luck with it, man. And we appreciate you taking the time to come on to Aftershocks.
Thank you very much. Take care.
Thanks for listening to Aftershocks. For more episodes, go to our website at www.aftershockspodcast.com. Visit us on our Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter pages for more news and information on the podcast. And be sure to subscribe, listen to, and review all episodes on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and all other podcast platforms. For your music listening pleasure, visit our website or go to www.shockwavesradio.com. For all comments and questions, please email us at info@aftershockspodcast.com.